A lot of you probably haven't heard the news yet, but something shifted in the automotive world this week. For the very first time, Matt Armstrong received a package in the mail that stopped him dead in his tracks. It wasn't a part for a crashed Range Rover. It wasn't a body kit for a BMW. It was a care package from Koenigsegg. Now, let that sink in for a second. If you followed Matt for any length of time, you know why this matters. Matt has never owned a Koenigsegg. He's never rebuilt one. He's never even turned a wrench on a Swedish hypercar. Yet there he was, standing in the workshop, unboxing official hoodies, t-shirts, and premium merchandise sent directly from the factory in Angelholm. Look at this. I got this in the post. Bearing in mind, I have never bought a Koenigsegg in my life. Got a little note to say watch the videos. I got loads of things like hoodies, t-shirts, and merch all from Koenigsegg, and I've never bought one. I didn't get that from Lamborghini or Ferrari. Meanwhile, the brand has actually shed blood, sweat, and hundreds of thousands of pounds over Lamborghini and Ferrari, have sent him absolutely nothing. Not a hat, not a sticker, not even a quiet thank you for pulling their flagship models back from the scrap heap and putting them in front of tens of millions of eyes. So the question forming in everyone's mind right now is a simple one. What does Koenigsegg see in Matt Armstrong, and where could this possibly lead? Imagine the scene at the workshop. Matt is used at deliveries. Usually it's heavy crates packed with suspension arms or expensive carbon fiber panels hauled in from salvage auctions across Europe. But this package was different. It didn't come from a breaker's yard. It came from the inner circle of hypercar royalty. As he opened it, he found a collection of high-end gear, official Koenigsegg hoodies, t-shirts, and limited edition merchandise, the kind of items that typically only land in the hands of owners who spent north of $3 million on one of these machines. But it wasn't just the clothes that caught his attention. It was a personal note tucked inside. Think about what that means. He's holding gear that collectors pay serious money for, sent to him for free by a manufacturer that only builds somewhere between 20 and 35 cars in an entire year. To put that number in perspective, Toyota builds that many cars every few seconds. Koenigsegg is the very definition of exclusivity, and yet here they are reaching out to a man who has built his name rescuing written-off exotics from insurance auctions. The note specifically asked him to watch some videos, which tells us something critical. The team in Sweden isn't just vaguely aware of Matt. They've been paying close attention. They wanted him to see something specific about their engineering philosophy. This wasn't generic fan package stuffed into a mailer by an intern. This felt deliberate. It felt like an invitation. And here's what makes the whole thing so fascinating and, honestly, a little painful if you've been watching Matt's journey from the start. Matt Armstrong has single-handedly kept the dream of certain brands alive for an entire generation of younger enthusiasts. Think about the sheer scale of what he's done. The Lamborghini Revuelto, a 425,000-pound hybrid hypercar that he took a massive financial gamble on. The Ferrari 296 GTB, a car that arrived at the shop in such rough shape it seemed beyond saving. A car that even specialists had seemingly walked away from, and Matt committed to bringing it back piece by piece, even though as of right now the engine still hasn't fired. The Murcielago, the Aventador. He has literally rescued these cars from being crushed and melted into scrap metal. Over the years, Matt has poured hundreds of thousands of pounds into genuine OEM parts from Lamborghini and Ferrari. He has generated tens of millions of views worth of overwhelmingly positive exposure for those brands, pulling back the skin of these machines and showing the world the incredible engineering underneath. And what has he received in return from either of them? Nothing. Not a word. In the world of the big Italian manufacturers, you are a customer. You are a transaction. And if you happen to buy a crash example and fix it yourself, you're sometimes treated not as a champion of the product, but as a threat to their carefully curated brand image. Now contrast that with Koenigsegg, a brand whose cars Matt has never owned, never rebuilt, and may never have even sat inside. They're the ones who reached out. They're the ones who showed respect. The brands he has fought for don't acknowledge him, but the brand he has never worked with is treating him like he matters. That gap says everything about the state of the industry right now. And make no mistake, this was not random. Koenigsegg does not scatter merchandise across the internet hoping something sticks. There are clear reasons why this happened. Their team has watched Matt's channel climb past 5 million subscribers. They've seen the level of technical depth he brings to every build. While most automotive influencers film reaction videos or do quick drive-bys at car shows, Matt strips a car down to the bare chassis and explains how the gearbox functions, how the carbon fiber tub is bonded, how the wiring loom communicates between modules. He treats every build like an engineering case study, and that matters deeply to a company like Koenigsegg, because Koenigsegg is, at its core, an engineering company that happens to express itself through cars. Christian von Koenigsegg, the founder, is famous for being hands-on and genuinely passionate. He doesn't barricade himself behind layers of corporate PR. He loves diving into the how and the why of every component. It's not hard to imagine someone on that team watching one of Matt's teardown videos and recognizing a kindred spirit. By sending this package, Koenigsegg is opening a door. They are starting a conversation. They understand that a creator with Matt's reach and credibility talking organically about their brand carries more weight than any polished commercial ever could. This is real exposure to exactly the audience they want. People who care about cars not as status symbols, but as feats of engineering. This whole situation shines a light on the growing divide between how the world's most powerful car brands engage with the culture around them. Ferrari guards its image with an iron fist. Lamborghini leans into spectacle, but keeps creators at arm's length. Neither approach is necessarily wrong. They are billion-dollar companies, and their strategies have clearly worked. But Koenigsegg's move is the only one that feels human. They looked at what Matt Armstrong is building and recognized that his trajectory is extraordinary. 5 million subscribers today. Potentially double that within a couple of years. They are investing in a relationship now, early, before everyone else realizes they should have done the same thing. And that note in the box is the detail that sticks with me. Watch the videos. It wasn't watch our latest advertisement. It was almost certainly a nudge toward their manufacturing process. The Jesco's revolutionary light speed transmission, or their Freevalve camshaft-free engine technology. Things that would captivate someone like Matt. Things that would make his engineering brain light up. It was a message designed specifically for him, not for the audience. That's what makes it feel so genuine. So where does this go from here? The most natural first step would be Matt flying out to Sweden. Imagine that content. Matt walking to the Angel Home production floor where every single car is assembled by hand, sitting down face-to-face with Christian von Koenigsegg, talking about tolerances and materials and the philosophy behind building a car that can hit 300 miles per hour. It would be a meeting of minds that the automotive corner of the internet has never seen before. Beyond that, imagine Matt behind the wheel. We've watched him drive fast cars, but he has never experienced the specific kind of violence that a Koenigsegg delivers. A video capturing that moment, the raw sensory overload of a Jesco or a Regera at full power, would be something people talk about for years. And then there's a dream scenario, the one every single subscriber is quietly hoping for. Imagine a damaged Koenigsegg, maybe a development mule or a car that suffered minor incident damage, and instead of the manufacturer quietly disposing of it, they invite Matt to document the teardown and repair. Imagine Koenigsegg providing the technical data and the parts and letting the creators show the world, bolt by bolt, how these machines are constructed. Nothing like that has ever been done at this level. It would rewrite the rules of how manufacturers interact with independent creators overnight. The beautiful thing about all of this is that Matt Armstrong didn't chase it. He didn't send cold emails to Koenigsegg's PR department begging for a partnership. He didn't pivot his content to court their attention. He just kept his head down. He worked brutal hours in the shop. He kept producing the most honest, detailed car restoration content on the platform, video after video, month after month. And eventually, the right people noticed. There's a quiet lesson buried in that. Sometimes the people you pour your energy into won't be the ones who recognize your value. Sometimes respect arrives from a direction you never expected. Matt stayed authentic through all of it. He didn't soften his style to appease Ferrari's gatekeepers or chase the flash that Lamborghini's image demands. He stayed exactly who he's always been, the guy in a hoodie who isn't afraid to crawl under a car and get his hands dirty, who will spend 16 hours diagnosing a fault code and film every frustrating minute of it. And in the end, that raw honesty is precisely what caught the attention of what many consider the most technically advanced car manufacturer on the planet. This is not just about free hoodies and t-shirts. This is a signal. Koenigsegg is watching. They are paying attention. And they have made the first move. Whatever comes next, whether it's a factory visit, a test drive, or something none of us have even dared to imagine yet, one thing is already clear. The moment that box arrived at the workshop, something changed. And there is no going back from here.